Hey, hey, Moyo Nation. Here we go again. We're Moyo everywhere we go. I'm out again on the roads in Marathon, enjoying the sunshine. Last night, I sat out behind the house and just looked at constellations up in the sky. I love looking at constellations because they tell a story. And if you take the time to learn the story, they're fascinating stories that were made up by the ancient Greeks thousands of years ago to make sense of their lives. And those stories still exist. You can look in the stars, find the constellations, and tell the stories. The interesting thing though is those constellations are up there every night, but I only seem to really appreciate them when I'm in places where there's not so much ambient light. Every year when I'm here, I notice the constellations. I can see so many stars, make out so many constellations. When I'm in Arizona or Colorado, where there's not much ambient light, you can see all the stars. But when I'm home and we have so much light around us, the street lights and building lights, you can still make out some of the constellations, but not all of them, and not all the stars in all of them. So I go for long periods of time and I never notice the constellations until I come back to a place where there's not much ambient light and I can see them so clearly. And I think that's so much like our own lives. When we're in a place of stillness and quiet, we can examine ourselves, we can examine our hearts, we can get away from all of the chaos in the world around us, and we see things more clearly. We hear God's voice in our heart. We hear our thoughts and measure our thoughts. But when there's so much ambient noise and worry and stress and newscasts, it keeps us from being able to hear God's voice, hear our own thoughts. So I challenge you to block out some of that ambient light. See the constellations in your life. Those constellations are stories that were told thousands of years ago, and they're set. But your life is like a constellation. The beauty is, though, you get to tell the story. You have the ability to tell your story, to live your story, to write your story. So live a good story. Tell your story. Get away from the noise. Get away from the confusion. Find quietness in your mind. Find stillness in your mind. And listen to the voice of God. Listen to the thoughts in your head. And tell your story. Live your story. And Moyo everywhere we go.